Ever wondered what a warm meat salad tastes like, but with a twist? But do you want to eat less meat and swap the meat for tofu? And what if I told you that swapping the meat for tofu doesn't mean sacrificing the taste? Rysy, I'm sure you're wondering why? Why? Why are we making two meals when one is always good enough? I'm glad you asked. Who's a good girl? The reason is because, Rysy, we wanted to show that it's possible to make a meat-free meal without foregoing any flavour. And this is a good one to try out if you want to experiment with directly comparing a meat meal with its vegan version. As all you'll need is an extra saucepan, and the cooking time will basically be the same. So you have nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose. They've got nothing to lose, Rysy. So we would describe ourselves as mostly meat-free, wouldn't we, Rysy? Well, yeah. Well, some more than others, but we both remember when we wanted to start meat reducing, for all the good reasons that you should, but we had the same thought as a lot of people have. Will the food still be tasty? Will it feel like I've eaten a satisfying meal? And will I have enough protein? That was your main concern, wasn't it? Yes. All valid questions, but once you get started and give it a go, you'll find that it gets easier every time with the help of herbs and spices and different cooking techniques. Yes, you've been much better with your cooking techniques, haven't you, recently? Yes, you have. So yeah, it was you, Rysy, wasn't it, who came up with the idea of a different larb-inspired meal, the tofu version. And then we both decided it was a good one to showcase the fact that you can do so much with only plants. Yes. All right, so let's get cooking and we can try the different versions, and then afterwards we'll learn a bit more about the origins of the larb. With all the flavour building ingredients, so that will be the onions and the chilli and garlic and whatever, when we get onto that in a minute. I'm going to be halving it because we're doing two batches. We're doing a chicken batch and a tofu batch. So then we can see that I've just kind of split everything in half. So yeah, slicing the onions, as always. I'm always slicing onions, as I'm sure you are too. So once they're all sliced, they're going on a griddle pan. So the griddle pan is the secret to a lot of this meal. You'll be okay if you just have a frying pan, but if you're thinking about buying some new piece of kitchen equipment, then maybe this is the time to go and get yourself a griddle pan. So this is always on a high heat, really high, because we do want it to kind of get as crispy and as brown as possible in a short space of time. So yeah, cooking half the onions now, and this is for the tofu batch. First of all, okay, there we go, they're nice and brown, as if by magic, and then yeah, storing that in just a cooking pot. So this is so it's going to stay warm, but not hot, so that pan's not going to be on the heat. So yeah, the aim of the larb is to serve it as it's like a warm meat salad originally. And now, yeah, this is the second batch of onions on now for the chicken larb. And there we go, just by magic they're done. And then they're going into a different pan for the chicken meat to get into. Okay, so now, yeah, onto some more flavour building ingredients. So the classics, ginger, garlic, chili. So you're going to get this all sliced up, sliced and diced, and then get that halved again. So yeah, half for tofu, half for chicken. Okay, so yeah, starting off with the tofu, so just crumbling this with my bare hands. You can do this in a food processor as well. It's a bit quicker, but then you do have the chore of cleaning a food processor, so you're not using a food processor today. But it is of course possible. So don't worry too much about the exact quantities that I'm using. The real recipe, the full recipe with tried and tested quantities of everything is on jollyspud.com, but the aim of today is to see if tofu, and I guess the lack of fish sauce in the vegan version, is going to be as tasty as the chicken original, well, I guess my original recipe, but it's not the authentic larb, as we'll talk about when we head back to the office. Okay, so yeah, now adding some spices. So again, this is slightly different to the recipe online. We've got cumin, paprika, curry powder, and mixed herbs. And then you're giving that a big old mix in the mixing bowl. So yeah, in there we've got the tofu, the chili, garlic, and ginger, and then yeah, the herbs and spices. And then this is going to be cooked in batches because you want to get it nice and crispy in the griddle pan. So if there's not enough space in your griddle pan, then don't cook it all in one go. So we can start to see it goes nice and crispy in parts, and then you get that added to the onions, and then yeah, cooking two batches there. So on to the chicken. Yeah, so this is chicken breast. So again, you can do this in the food processor. Probably a bit easier to do this in the food processor. I'm just showing showing you here that you don't have to do it in a food processor. So getting it chopped up into as smaller pieces as possible, and then kind of using the same dicing technique that you would use with like chili and garlic. You can also do that with the chicken. So again, yeah, into the mixing bowl, and then everything else is the same. So chili, garlic, ginger, and then the herbs and spices getting chucked in are the same as well. Giving that a mix, and then yeah, back to the griddle pan. And then yeah, once it's starting to get a bit crispy, then you know it's done. Then you're adding that to the other onions. So now we can see we've got our 2 batches. Now we're adding more flavour in the form of some fish sauce. So fish sauce is only for the chicken version because we want the other one to be vegan. We'll talk more about fish sauce when we head back to the office. But I'm very interested to find out if fish sauce is going to be missing from the tofu version, because yeah, fish sauce is very powerful. And then what else is going in there? So that's some white wine vinegar and then some soy sauce. So yeah, adding just soy sauce and white wine vinegar to the vegan version. But maybe I think I added a little bit more white wine vinegar just to make up for the lack of fish sauce. Then, as always, I like to cook things in excess, because I think once you started cooking, it's not too much more effort to just cook a bit more onions and a bit more protein, and then you've got something saved for later. So in the future there will definitely be a chicken recipe. The tofu recipe I'm still kind of working on. Okay, so now adding uncooked things, so this just adds even more flavor and makes it more of a salad to the tofu and the chicken mixes. So just half a red onion sliced, and then a big bunch of coriander and a big bunch of basil. You can also use mint, so the recipe online uses mint. Really doesn't matter too much. So then you can see I'm just splitting those in half, one for each batch, then giving it a big old mix. And again, yeah, haven't put that on the heat at all, so it does cool down, but it's not meant to be served hot. And then, so how it is going to get served is in some little gem lettuce bowls. So this really is a perfect summer recipe. It's so light, so fresh, it really does fill you up, and is packed with protein. So I'm doing half with the tofu mixture, and then half with the chicken mixture, and then I'm going to do a taste test. So plating up and then topping with sriracha sauce, and then pop it in my mouth. So the results are in, and I can tell you that they are both amazing, both really good. I would say that I did actually slightly prefer the tofu. I did use a tofu that was marinated, like pre-marinated tofu, and that flavour really did kind of come through, and that was really, really good. Didn't miss the fish sauce at all, so don't worry about trying to find vegan fish sauce or making your own vegan fish sauce. It really was not needed. So yeah, love both the larbs. We've got a meat one and a vegan one. Something for everyone, I'm sure. So there we go, double larbs. I can't recommend this recipe enough, especially if you're eating this during the warmer months. In my first video, I delved into the nutritional content of tofu and chicken breast, and the bottom line is that both are excellent sources of protein, making this recipe a healthy choice no matter what you choose. But yeah, click over here if you want to watch that video. Now let's move on to the origins of larb. Larb is a type of Lao meat salad, and in the past it was served to guests at important festivals and special occasions. This was due to how uncommon it was to eat meat regularly. You good girl. Now, as meat is more available, so is the eating of larb, a typical dish found across Southeast Asia, and different variations of the dish are prepared in different regions. However, what stays the same is the base of the dish, which is always minced meat. The meat can be almost anything, and then it's mixed with various seasonings, spices, and herbs. This is what inspired me, and us actually, Rysy, didn't it, to create what we made today and try a vegan version as well. So by no means is this recipe authentic, it's just heavily inspired by the larb. Yes, good girl. So when it comes to trying it home, you can add almost anything, make it as spicy as you want, or maybe even more herby. If you're happy with the results, you're on to a winner. Yes, good girl. And then yeah, finally, larb is usually served with sticky rice, which is something, of course, you can do, but I love eating it out of a gem lettuce bowl, which is what we're gonna give Rysy now. Are you ready? Good girl. So we've got some lettuce. Here it is. So let's see how we got on. You've not really eaten much lettuce in the past. Good girl. Oh, good girl. So lettuce is a good source of fibre, and it also has some great vitamins in there, as well as minerals, but there aren't enough nutrients in the lettuce to replace a meal, so it can only be used as a treat. Yeah, good girl. You do deserve this lovely lettuce treat. But it can be challenging for some dogs to digest, so only give it to them in small amounts. And as always, no added extra, especially salt and oil. So no dressings for you, no fancy salad dressings for you. So thank you for watching. And if you want to learn more about the differences between tofu and chicken, click over here, and I will see you later. Bye, Rysy. Say goodbye. Ugh.